What's up, YouTube family? It's your favorite black guy from Nebraska. Yes, there's plenty of melanated people here in Nebraska. Today it's Friday night. You know what I mean? Raise the roof. You made it through the week. I was just sitting here reading my daily devotional, my daily scripture. And yesterday I made an important video that I wasn't able to get posted on YouTube. I had recorded my video in cinematic mode, and it was trying to edit itself to get to the point where I can post on YouTube, but my phone, it was a breakdown. And man, I went on a 16-minute, I was dropping knowledge. I'm talking about boom, boom. It flowed so well that I was so upset. The video I made yesterday and what today is going to be about is about the Diddy documentary. All right, I'm going to get into some more in-depth information as to why the documentary, again, another documentary, why now, what for? What is the main purpose of this documentary, right? People think that 50 Cent is just being an ornery individual trying to get back at P.Diddy for some woman, and that's the surface. Okay, there's a much deeper meaning as to why 50 Cent and putting out this documentary on P.Diddy. Did 50 Cent do all this on his own? Absolutely not. You better believe that 50 Cent is just the face of this documentary, right? When people talk about this documentary and they want to, say all these negative things about it, they say negative things about 50 Cent. Okay, that's just the face. But you better believe there are people that came to 50 Cent with this information and said, hey, this needs to happen, and you're going to be the face of it. Okay, I'm talking about people that work behind the scenes. I'm talking about the hidden hand. I'm talking about the J people. I'm talking about the people that have the flag with the 6-pointed star, the star of Remphan, the god of another false god of the Bible. People who support that, people who are of that community, those are the people behind 50 Cent. And honestly, those are the people behind his superstardom, honestly, and a lot of other superstars, but we're not gonna get into that. So the true meaning behind this documentary is, for one, P.Diddy did not get enough time. Okay, he didn't get life. He didn't get 20 years. He didn't get 10 years. He got 4 years. That's not good enough. Also, they really want to tie Tupac's assassination to P. Diddy. They want to do that extremely bad. They need to do that extremely bad because of the people who actually orchestrated Tupac's assassination. They need to get away. All right. P. D is not going to be the only person that's going to take the fall for this. P. Diddy has to take the fall as well. If you think about it, Tupac's gone, Biggie's gone, Sugar's in jail. P. Diddy has to take the fall as well. He's the last man standing, honestly. I know Suge Knight has a documentary about, being the last man standing. No, Diddy's the last man standing. So Diddy must fall, and they must put the nail in his coffin, okay? Tupac's assassination. And that's really what a lot of the documentary, a lot of it is about Tupac's assassination. Now, the information that is given to you is fed to you by a crooked cop named Greg Kading. Greg Kading cannot even go to a courtroom and testify. He can't get on the stand because he has zero credibility. Reggie Wright, the same way. He has zero credibility. And Reggie Wright is the Death Row Records head of security. Used to be Death Row Records head of security, okay? So you got Greg Kading feeding you this information that Diddy has something to do with Tupac's assassination. Diddy had absolutely nothing to do with Tupac's assassination. He might have probably had something to do with Biggie's, but not Tupac's. Understand this. There were enough people around Tupac at the time that he was assassinated that wanted him dead. P. Diddy would have had to stand in line and take a number, okay? LAPD wanted him dead. Death Row wanted Tupac dead. The Feds wanted Tupac dead. LAPD management wanted Tupac dead, okay? Reggie Wright wanted Tupac dead. David Cannon wanted Tupac dead. Suge Knight wanted Tupac dead. These are the individuals that are truly behind the assassination of Tupac Shakur. Now, Why did they want Tupac Shakur dead? Why? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but the main reason as to why they wanted Tupac Shakur dead is because he called an audit on Death Row Records. Yes, he did. He called an audit. When you call an audit on an organization such as Death Row Records, and Death Row Records was and indeed is or was a criminal organization. Okay, it was like a mafia. It really was. You had police officers working at all levels of Death Row Records. Okay, the retired police officer Russell Poole. If you've done any research on Tupac's death or Biggie's death, you know who Russell Poole is. Russell Poole went to his boss in regards to all the cops working at Death Row Records, and he inquired, why are all these police officers working with known felons? And the police officer said this, and this, listen, and I quote, the police officers working at Death Row Records are covert agents, AKA, or troubleshooters. Okay, the police officers were named covert agents. So, when Tupac Shakur called an audit on Death Row Records, now mind you, Death Row Records is a criminal organization that sold dope. Reggie Wright sold dope. Suge Knight sold dope. David Kenner sold dope. You had police officers that were taking hits, and you had gun running going on. So you had all these things going on inside Death Row Records. Also, the police officers were moonlighting for known gangsters, okay? Doing work for known gangsters, watching out as people were doing drug deals. They would play the lookout. They would be on the microphones making sure, or the scanners making sure other police officers weren't around so they can do their drug deals. These are the type of things that were going on in Death Row Records. So Tupac decided that, you know, he called the audit because he was getting fleeced. He was making millions of dollars, but we're seeing none of it. I mean, think about it. You had All Eyes on Me, sold millions. You had Tupac's movie deals. He wasn't seeing close to none of that money. Okay, the Death Row Records was seeing that, and he got tired of it. And he said, "You know what? I'm gonna fire David Kenner," which was one of the which would really put the nail in the coffin. He called an audit and fired David Kenner. David Kenner has mafia ties, and Tupac died, and guess what? Mafia land. So you can kind of see these things coming together. So he called the audit, and Tupac had to die, because if Tupac dies, then the audit dies. I mean, if you think about it, if this audit would have went through and the feds would have came and saw Death Row and saw what was really going on in Death Row Records, even though a lot of people in Death Row Records were federal informants, and mind you, they were doing all this while they were being investigated by the feds. Also, the feds were present at Tupac's assassination and Biggie's assassination. Inside the caravan of cars that headed to 662, September 7th, there was an FBI and an ATF agent in one of those cars watching. Kevin Hackey said they have it on video, recording Tupac being assassinated right before Biggie was assassinated. Biggie was being investigated by the feds for having ties to the Genovese Mafia family. Did he really have ties to the Genovese Mafia family? Maybe, maybe not. Any reason to just watch these rappers. So you got the feds, in my opinion, humble opinion, supervising the assassination of both these key figures. So, and I say all this to say this because I'm not going to get into the specifics of Tupac's assassination. I'm just going to give you an overview. If you have any questions, I know a lot of information about his assassination. Please ask all your questions in the comment section, and I can answer most of those questions. A lot of people are saying, well, what about P.Diddy and his confessions? What about the books that he's putting out? What about this? What about that? P.Diddy is the fall guy, okay? P.Diddy is a part of the cover-up, not the assassination. Here's more information. P.Diddy and Reggie Wright used to sell dope together. They used to push dope together. They did business together, okay? So all this is coming together, right? You're listening. If you think about it, Tupac Shakur got shot by a dope ring, a criminal organization, a crime ring, okay? That's what Tupac, that's why he got on that plane and he said, I'm a dead man walking. because he knew that something strange was going to happen to him, something bad was going to happen to him, because he was leaving the record label. So let's go back to Keefe D. Keefe D and Reggie Wright sold dope together. They had a working relationship. Do you know who put Keefe D on the internet and who helped him write his book? When she claimed that he killed Tupac Shakur, which there's zero to no evidence of him being in Vegas that night, and or maybe he was in Vegas that night, but he wasn't in that Cadillac. Guarantee you that. All four officers were in that Cadillac: Kevin Gaines, Nino Durden, David Mack, and your boy from Training Day, Rafael Perez. Those were the four police officers that were in that Cadillac. Okay, so Keefe D, the person that put Keefe D on the Art of Dialogue and got him all those hookups on social media was Reggie Wright. Reggie Wright set Keefe D up to take the fall for this. Now, Keefe D went online, running his mouth, wrote a book, running his mouth, and if you hear Keefe D talk, he needs help. He didn't write that book by himself. Greg Kading, the crooked cop that's in the position to cover up for the LAPD, helped Keefe D and Reggie Wright, helped Keefe D write that book, and they put him smack dab on all social media platforms, and they let him run his mouth, because I believe Keefe D is probably a federal informant, 9 times out of 10. And they allowed him to take the rap for Tupac's assassination, knowing he had nothing to do with it, knowing he didn't do nothing. He's just taking the rap for it, and he probably got some money out of it, good chunk of money. But when all that was said and done, see, they were playing the long game with Keefe D. He didn't even realize, like, damn, I'm gonna actually get charged for this. Yeah, you are, dummy. and they knew they could do that to Keefe D because he's not too smart. He's not too intelligent. Did Keefe D assassinate Tupac? I'm gonna say this again, absolutely not. He's a part of the cover-up. Southside Crips and the Mob Piru are not like adversaries like you would think they would be. Another reason why they were able to pull this off in Vegas is because Mob Piru and Southside Crips were going to Vegas, like before Tupac Shakur was shot and assassinated. They did a lot of business in Vegas. Okay, they were doing a lot of dope running in Vegas. Okay, that's why the Southside Crips really got pulled into this assassination. They were really just fall people, the cover guys. Blame it on the dead guys. That's the whole mechanism around this Tupac's assassination. Blame it on the dead guys so everybody else can get away. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna just give you a review. The reason why this documentary is out is because Keefe D's in jail, P.Diddy's in jail, and eventually, once this trial starts in April 2026, they want to be able to give you guys enough false evidence to be able to tie P. Diddy into Tupac's assassination and close the books on truly close the books on his assassination. And they're going to kill two birds with one stone. They're going to close the books on Tupac's assassination, and they're going to put P. Diddy away, which will conclude the East Coast, West Coast war. And P. Diddy had nothing to do with Tupac's assassination. The people that wanted Tupac dead was LAPD, the Feds, Death Row Records. Those are the people who wanted Tupac dead. Those are the people involved in his assassination, okay? And that's the gist of it. Keefe D, he's a fall guy. Blame it on the dead guys. That's gang related, so everybody else can get away. So the true the true people that pulled off this assassination and pulled off all these crimes can get away. So that is the gist of what's going on with this documentary, okay? Please don't take everything on face value. Vet the information. And let me show you something before I go. I'm gonna show you 2 books that you should get if you want to know information about what's really going on. Let's see, I had it yesterday. 1 and 2. If you really want to know what's going on in regards to the assassination of Tupac Shakur, and you know that P. Diddy didn't do it, And P. Diddy was probably privy to some information, but he did not do it, okay? So, The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders by John Potash. Okay, this is a great book. This shows you from Tupac being born up until his assassination, counterintelligence was being performed on Tupac up until his death. This book covers that, okay? Also, Drugs as Weapons Against Us. The CIA's murderous targeting of SDS, Panthers, Hendrix, Lennon, Cobain, Tupac, and other activists by John Potash. So these two books is what you need to get if you want to be informed. Don't listen to crooked cops who can't get on the witness stand and testify in regards to none of the information they put out, and who only want to cover up the LAPD's involvement in these assassinations and also makes them some money, okay? Don't listen to people like that, because you're not gonna get the truth, okay? 50 Cent is he's just the face of this documentary. There are people behind him who are, the hidden hand is behind this whole situation, all right? Think deeper. Critical thinking is what we need in our community, and we don't apply it enough to anything. We take everything for face value, and we believe the people, we believe crooked cops over actually going out and doing our own research. So it's your favorite black guy from Nebraska. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Hope nobody gets in trouble. Please stay away from all hurt, harm, and danger. I hope God blesses you, all right? So peace. I'll see you in the next one.